Títílayìnkẹ come talk to us. She's going to share some beautiful information with us like we learned when we started with Mr. Paul Obazele.
So we welcome to the podium Títílayìnkẹ.
Can we give her a resounding round of applause?
Better one, please.
I told you she's a lecturer at the University of Lagos. She's going to tell us more about what she's into. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Our dear Madam Dr. Mesun Agbo, the chairman of the occasion, I stand on all established protocol. Thank you, dear parents. My name is Títíl'Ayìnkẹ. I'm a lecturer in the University of Lagos. I'm a performance esthetician and with focus on the production of cultural activities, especially for the digital generation. It's a great privilege to be here today to talk about, to be a part of this program. I forgot to mention, I'm also a performer. My stage name is Títílayìnkẹ. I'm an actress, a chantress of traditional Yoruba origin. And by the end of the day, I'm going to do a short performance for you. Like I said, it's a privilege to talk about this issue about culture, because it's also a reflection of how my own life, my personal life has gone. At a point in life, I was in search of my identity. Even presently as a parent, I've been faced with the challenge of my children being unable to speak my Yoruba language. I'm watching online where people that are not of our culture are learning more about our culture every day. So at a point in my life, a young age, as a science student and a potential doctor to be, I decided to go into theater arts. After a year in the university trying to be a doctor, I felt I could communicate more with my people, the culture of my people. And here I am today. It was a decision that it was a lot of conflict. My daddy wanted a doctor in the family and I was a potential. So it was a very sad, a very difficult decision for me. So, to take at that time, but we had to accept it. Today, as a lecturer, I'm a doctor, and a performer. I'm happy to be one. Thank you so much. I think I'll be looking at, that's me, one of my productions, an album in one of my, a track in one of my debut album that's coming, Panegyric, in the development of Nigerian culture in the digital age. I mean oral literature. What has oral literature gone to do with the development of a nation, especially when we are trying to get across to our younger people? And this, like I said, became very important to me at a point where I couldn't communicate with my own children in my native language. And you can't, it's a difficult thing in the kind of environment where we are in, where our language is viewed as vernacular, our festivals are viewed as fetish and anti-religion. So, but let me come back to the study. I'm taking a different approach to general conception about culture. And you hear me talking about DNA. You hear me talking about ancestors. And you hear me talking here about what we consider science and the relationship between culture and science. But I'll try not to go through too deep because I know I'm talking to young people as well as adults and also people that are not in the sciences. But But I tell you, my science background has helped me a lot in understanding of culture. And it's the little I understood from it that I'm trying to portray. I think I said before the link between science and culture. Many of us are about to think about culture. When we think about culture, we are often led to think it's just about the physical manifestation of our being. Talking about dressing, music, food, you know, all the things we can see, art and craft. Putting into the background, you know, things like even our genetic composition, our way of thinking. Why do we think the way we are? Many of us will find relevance. We struggle, you know, to understand what our DNA has to do with our culture. And I think it's with reference to that I would like to show a short video first. Please, sir, the fertilization video. The video on fertilization. Quickly. Just a 2 minutes. The one on fertilization. Alright, I'll be talking as it's trying to, I find this video particularly very interesting because it shows the process of, you know, fertilization, how human beings born, the interaction between the sperm and the ovary, and what took place. And what I found very profound about the video is that I learned that about 200 million stem cells were released during the process of, you know, fertilization. Eventually, only one eventually succeeded in making the connection and becoming the human being. And the video also highlighted how the struggles of this sperm cell to reach that one cell, which is not, you didn't know whether it's on the right side of the ovary or the fallopian tube. Is it on the right side or is it on the left side? And eventually one penetrated with egg and became the embryo. And I'm trying to say that the building block of every human being is deeply connected to the culture of the people. And that is my point, that is my definition of looking at culture from a different perspective. You know, so I try to say what is the definition. I'm not going to take too many definitions. I just pick one definition of culture. The simplest one. Culture is the total way of life of a people. A group of people, institution, society, civilization, in a place over a period of time. And what I try to bring out from this definition is 4 things, 3 things, no 4. We talk about people, we talk about group of people, we talk about institutions, we talk about society. 1. We talk about geographical location. When we are talking about geographical location, we are talking about where are we on planet Earth in terms of latitude and longitude, in terms of climate, weather. Is it tropical? Is it climate? Is it hilly? Is it savanna? Is it desert? Are we living by the water side? Are we living by the desert? Then, is it in which continent? Are we looking at the 7 continents? Asia, Africa, Australia, North America, South America, Australia, Antarctica. Where are we talking about particularly? That's the location of the 2nd level. Then we are looking at time. In what period, in what era, in what century are these people born? What is happening in that century? And the solution from these 4 observations is that culture is a creation of the divine will. You call it God, you call it whatever you want. And he has made it so that human beings can interact for the perpetuation of humanity and to the glorification of God. I think if we have a little bit of this understanding, that culture is not something that happened just like that. God, by one means or the other, created in a certain environment to be born by certain people and at specific period in history, and to do what? To glorify Him. And I also want to say this, please. Based on the fact that we are created in specific location and we are forced to interact with some selected number of people, group of people, that means culture is about survival. Culture is a surviving strategy. It is a way of making sure that the present generation of human beings survive enough to produce the next generation and the next after it till infinity. In biology, we may call it evolution. Law of natural selection. Perpetuating ourselves continually in this world. Preserving it. Continuing it. Propagation. Adaptation. Survival, sustenance, increase, supplement, augmentation, all the things that make an organism to survive. That is culture. That is why I said to further illuminate my point, I would have been very good if we are able to watch that video and listen. That by looking at this video, we are supposed to understand that we are a miracle of something that is profound and significant. That all our biological composition, which we are later going to be manifested in our physical being, they are our inheritance. That our ancestors bequeathed on us as their responsibility towards ensuring the enhanced perpetuity of their lineage or generation. And DNA is one of that miracle. In the miracle of birth and fertilization, we find how much our ancestors have bestowed on us. In all of the about 200 million spermatozoa, only a few million made it to the inner the cervix, lesser more to the fallopian tube, and even lesser more to the egg, the ovaries, left or right. The long and short of this long speech is that we are the very best, the strongest of our genetic pool. Our ancestors, maternal or paternal, we are the chosen few, anointed to shoulder on the responsibility of perpetuating the next of our generation. Of us, people that look like us, people that can survive the ashes of weather. What a privilege that is. It is important to also know that in the what's called DNA and the genetic composition, there is a unique code for every human being. It is a data, you know, a bank of data about life and living, surviving skills that have made our ancestors to survive the often harsh realities of the environment, which include things like natural disasters, floods, storms, volcanic eruptions, drought, forest fires, predators, pandemic like COVID-18. You know how many people died with COVID-19? But some of us survived. When most of Europe and America were dying in thousands, in millions, what happened in Africa? Why did we survive? Why did we could barely account for 500,000 people that died during the COVID pandemic? Have we ever thought about it? We didn't have the best of health facilities. We didn't have the best of water system. We didn't have the best of health system. What happened? It is not all about darkness. That means our ancestors did not give us all about darkness or curses that some of our religions want us to believe. There are also information about what made our ancestors happy in terms of food, music, childbirth, marriage, harvest, family life, etc. This unique information is what is coming through our DNA. They are unseen and not often talked about in terms of culture. But you know, when you see a tall guy, a tall child, a tall man, beautiful lady, dark, yellow, brown, beautiful, fat, short, we are also talking about a culture. These are unseen, often not talk about aspects of culture. So when at times you respond to certain music in certain ways, when you take certain food and have memories, when you drink certain liquid and something makes you at peace, what you are doing is something in your gene is being activated. You have to remember that you are responding to something that was activated with the wisdom and the experiences of your ancestors and ingrained in your DNA. Alright, I've mentioned how we survived so many pandemics, so many things. Alright, thank you so much. Alright, what I try to, now try to say in essence is that our culture, the way the food we eat, is not anything very, very different. The nutrients, the relaxation, the seasonal change of weather, they are geographical. They are something that is encoded in our DNA. The music, why we enjoy what we enjoy, is because we have lived and eaten in certain environments. The way we marry, why do we do the kind of marriages we do? Marriage is also about natural selection. For every man and woman, you want to pick a pattern, a partner that you think can enhance your biological bank, that will lead to the survival of your generation. You are dark, you don't want all your children to be dark for whatever reason. You are short, you want your children to be tall or whatever. In looking at certain families, you look at what kind of people are they, what do they do enough for you to reproduce, the naming ceremonies we do, the type of burial we do. Nobody will ever leave a dead body on the streets. The government will not allow it, no community will allow it. So the way we do all these things, they are peculiar to us. And I mean, to run this up, for us to understand that we are not just mistakenly created. And that our culture is not just about wearing clothes and all these things. To look inwards, we have philosophy about life. What have we done with those philosophies? What is happening? I presented a video, the video on Nigerian web. It's a trend these days of online. You see many white people, they are having more interracial marriage. And you see these people are willing to do traditional Nigerian weddings. Why do you think they are doing all this? I wrote here, it's not, interracial marriage is not strange in human history. But the recent trend in Europe, between Europe and Nigeria and other Asian countries, should tell us something. That we have something unique that the world is looking for. There are genetic pools that are drying up, that are becoming they are shrinking. And they are looking for genes to stimulate their genetic genes. They are willing to learn our languages. They are willing to do our music. Entire families, generations coming to Nigeria to do Nigerian weddings. Learning the constellations, learning the food, learning the everything about the culture and willing to do it. What we are saying is that we have something very important. And it goes beyond just dressing up, putting on clothes, or doing some of the things we do. It means genetically. Everything that our ancestors have done, they are not bad. They are things they have done to enhance the survival of generation unborn. What are we doing to protect that? How much of it are we retaining? Especially in terms of language. Culture is a language. Oral speech is a language that forms a barrier between the seen and unseen culture of the world. I think it's important that we pay attention and try to teach our children more of our languages so that they can understand the wisdom of our ancestors. there is a lot of wisdom and knowledge in our traditional orature. And that's why I've taken it as a task to find a way of blending this knowledge to the younger one through performance and through conversion of some of these our oral traditional literature into animations, so that they can sing along, just like they sing Teletubbies, Barney and Friends, and some of those animations, so that they know that it's not just about wearing costume. We have a way we dance. There's a reason why we dance the way we dance. There's a reason why we wear. It's not just about wearing those costumes. One of the things that I'm so happy about today is that I didn't see any of the students on the stage trying to force what do we call it now? Follow English. I mean, like, speak perfect English. Nigerian English is Nigerian English. We are not Europeans. So our culture is there, our language is there, stands in the midst of what culture, and we should promote it. I think because of time, like I said, our culture is not just a physical exhibition of clothes, costume, and other forms here. As beautiful as they are, our culture is made more beautiful as a tool for national and global peace and understanding. Our culture is God's way of speaking of His greatness, supremacy, and especially love. He created us in diversity, black, white, yellow, and brown, in different geographical areas. Our culture is our ancestors' way of telling us their survival stories, of their own fears and courage, of their bravery and overcoming. It is the passing of their knowledge and wisdom gained through years of blood and tears, in submission and in surrender. My dear young people, you are your ancestors. Your ancestors are you. You are the stars of your ancestors. You are the stars your ancestors dream of. So shine brightly to the glory of God. As a sample of my own simple, we are just starting with a project. The project is a composition of Yoruba oral literature, and we are thinking of planning on making them into films and animations for the young generation so that they can connect easily. So I'm going to present just a 5-minute track of what we have done, and I have my dancers to support you to just let you have a feel of what it's all about. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Thank you. màró mú bọnu. Ìrẹ̀lẹ̀ ní mọ́kàn nígbà nílé bàbá mi. Ìrẹ̀lẹ̀ ti mú kí n rọ̀kún. Ìrẹ̀lẹ̀ ti mú kí n rọ̀ṣà. Ìrẹ̀lẹ̀ ti mú kí n rú gbọ́gbọ́gbọ́gbọ́. Ọ̀yá ṣetán, ọ̀yá wọlé nílé rá. Ọba lùfọ́ ṣetán, ó wọlé lẹ́rìn. Ìrẹ̀lẹ̀ ṣetán, ló wọlé ní Kírun. Pankẹ́rẹ́ làmúdùkú Ọ̀ṣun nílé bàbá tó bí mi lọ́mọ. Ìkírun àgùnbẹ́, èmi lọ́mọ alákọ̀ọ́ gàgàrà tí kọ̀ lójú ọ̀nà. Odò márùn-ún níbẹ̀ lù bàbá mi. Alóṣèré, aláfọ̀ ní Kírun, anípọ̀dọ̀ ní Kírun, alóńtòkí, alámọ̀ ní Kírun, èmi ní Mẹ̀sùn Àgbò Ajílọ́lá Ọ̀ṣọ́. 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 Ọmọ aládùúgbò ló gbòde kúndéédé paramọ́. Àyíkẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ọmọ jíìsìyàn ló gbòde. Èmi lọmọ ojú òlẹ̀jẹ̀ onígbẹ́rẹ́ tójú rí lójú ń sun. Èmi lọmọ ya lọ́nà ń tàgò. Ọmọ àtẹnuwíjọ́ kí pẹ́pẹ́pẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ má bàa gbọ̀n dalẹ̀. Àyíkẹ́ bọ́rọ̀ bá gbọ̀n dalẹ̀ máa yá bẹ̀rẹ̀ máa kó nǹkan ní Àyíkẹ́ àpò. Mẹ̀sùn Àgbò Ajílọ́lá Ọ̀ṣọ́. Mẹ̀sùn Àgbò Ajílọ́lá Ọ̀ṣọ́. Mẹ̀sùn Àgbò Ajílọ́lá Ọ̀ṣọ́. Mẹ̀sùn Àgbò Ajílọ́lá Ọ̀ṣọ́. Mẹ̀sùn Àgbò.
Thank you very much, Títíl'Ayìnkẹ, also known as Títíl'Ayìnkẹ. Thank you very much for that beautiful and fantastic presentation. I'm sure we are all awed and wowed by this presentation. Thank you very much for gracing this occasion.